Before the video starts, I would just like to say that a whopping 86% of the people who watch my videos aren't actually subscribed to the channel, which is just a huge majority. So if you enjoy the videos, consider subscribing. It would help me out a ton and I'd really appreciate it. Anyways, enjoy. Hey guys, it's Phantom here, and welcome back to a brand new video, everyone, where in today's video, I'm going to be ranking all of the worlds in Pirate101 from worst to best. I made a promise to myself a little while ago that if I ended up actually questing up one of the pirates on my account to max level, which I did eventually end up doing, I would do a proper video ranking all of the worlds in the game from worst to best. Because why not? And also because I posted a video a few years back doing this exact same thing without actually having personally quested throughout all the worlds, which, you know, not the greatest idea, but hey, I needed content. Anywho though, we don't have such limitations this time around. That's right, buddy, you're gonna get my full, totally unbiased, raw opinion on each one of these beautiful worlds. And you're gonna agree with me. You're gonna have to, because of course my opinion is obviously fact, and no one can tell me otherwise. So, with all of that being said, let's get into the ranking. Oh, but first, I would like to say that Pirate101 is an amazing game that you should totally go try if you haven't already because of how amazing it is, and also, because this game is so great, it was very hard for me to rank these worlds as I genuinely enjoyed playing through each one. And seriously though, each one has so many amazing qualities that it made making a video like this extremely, extremely tough. But I managed. Anyways, let's actually get into the ranking. Alright, so the first world coming up on this list, and also the worst world in the game in my opinion, is going to be the world of Aquila. Now, I believe I have already made some people upset. And now, don't get me wrong, this world is extremely beautiful, probably one of the best looking worlds in this game, honestly. However, I feel that the actual content of the world is just, well, what's the best way to say this? Not very good. The world is absolutely littered with extremely annoying defeat and collect quests, just among the worst I've ever seen in both Wizard 101 and Pirate 101, which is really saying something, but it's true. So many of Aquila's quests are just simply not fun to do, and were designed to take a really long time to complete. Time that is just spent fighting mindless battle after mindless battle for a singular item that you know in your heart of hearts will never drop. It just gets to a guy, you know? Also, I feel that the story of this world just isn't enough to make up for those battles. Even though it was cool to learn about some of the mythology surrounding the world, all that you do there pretty much just amalgamates into a rehashing of the Odyssey, and I don't even like that book very much. And I felt that overall the world had a really underwhelming ending, even though we do manage to get another piece of the map. But yeah, overall, it still didn't do it for me. You know how sometimes in life you'll meet these really attractive people who are just hollow inside and have absolutely zero personality? Well, that's kind of how I feel towards Aquila. What really matters just isn't there for me, you know? Anyways, on to the next world. Alright, so next up we have the world of Monquista, and let me just say, I really like this world. I think there's a big gap between it and Aquila, to be honest, even though it is still coming in 6th place. But it seriously is so much better, and that goes with pretty much every world on the list from here on out, as if that wasn't already obvious. So yeah, Monquista, super fun world, just probably not as great as all of the other ones coming after it on the list. I mean, I really like the look of it. I don't think the quests are too annoying, and the story is pretty interesting. But my biggest two gripes that I have with this world are probably that the Skyway, the one and only Skyway by the way, is just way too big, and it makes traveling for certain quests extremely annoying, and the world itself is too short. I know Blaze has joked in the past that whenever he's traveling by ship in Monquista, he'll walk away from his computer and just go do something else, you know, until, you know, his ship gets to where he needs to be. And that's not far from reality whatsoever. I mean, there are literally so many quests that require you to travel halfway around the entire Skyway to complete them, which is just extremely frustrating because a lot of times the distance that you have to travel is like 11 or 12,000 steps, and it's just a lot, even by ship. I'm sure every player that has quested at least a little through Monquista understands this pain, and it's almost constant. Not a great look, Monquista, not a great look. Of course, the actual plot of the world does make up for this, in my opinion, as I personally find the rebellion as well as the Monkey's Paw plotline to be extremely interesting, and I wish we got more of it. KI made this world too short for how good it was, and that's that. So it's going to be docked a few points. Gortez is a manly man, though, and we're all well aware of it. Coming up next is going to be the world of Skull Island, and I have no idea whether or not this ranking will be controversial, as I've heard a lot of mixed opinions on it. But in all honesty, if I'm removing the nostalgia factor that Skull Island carries for me, even though it is a classic, the world just isn't one of the best. I still absolutely love it, though. You see why it's hard for me to rank the Pirate101 worlds? Anyways, though, I am in love with the aesthetic of Skull Island. I honestly think it captures the pirating aspect of the game amazingly, in much the same way that Wizard City captures the wizarding aspect of Wizard 101 amazingly, so it's going to get some points for that, of course. I also think Skull Island has a slew of amazing characters, including Captain Avery, Bonnie Ann, Ratbeard, the Frogfather, etc., that really help the world building aspect of, well, of this world. You know what I mean. However, I do think what brings it down a little bit in my eyes is the fact that towards the beginning / middle of the world, you start all of the Blood Shoals quest lines, which, if you guys don't know, were changed a few years back to much more long-form quests that would take you to all new areas, etc., and while these quests do have some cool aspects, with me being a player who had played through the original Blood Shoals quest lines, I don't find them as good, really, as they just seem like an unnecessary waste of time compared to, what they were in the past. That being said, I think the world also has a lot of good plot lines as well, though, like the overall Ratbeard and Gun's treasure plotline, as well as the Gold Monkey and Gortez plotline and all of that good stuff. A really solid world, to be honest. It would play again. Alright, so next up we have Mushu. Oh boy, this is a good one. Probably my favorite world in this entire game, appearance-wise. I mean, the Skyways, dude. My god, the Temples of the Wind, Valley of the Titans, etc. I love the look of this world. I always think that Pirates Mushu is really what Wizards Mushu could have been. Amazing aesthetic with a pretty decent storyline as well. I loved all of the General Tso and the Armana stuff, as well as collecting the turtle balls from the Celestial Guardians, and I think that Mushu's ending at Maruzami Castle with the final test that you have to complete is extremely creative. Kaotsu is also just such a beast. I do believe this world can get pretty difficult at some points, but overall it's not too bad, and since the huge quest nerf, I really do believe this world is enjoyable to play through, which is why it's coming in at the number 4 spot. But anyways, with all of that being said, let's move into the top 3. So, coming in at the number 3 spot, we have Cool Ranch. And all I have to say is, my god, what an amazing world. Does it drag at some points? Sure. Should there have been a point where KI should have said, hey, maybe that's enough for one world? Sure, but I think the content offered is incredible, and I love the aesthetic of the world. I swear to god, pretty much every plotline in Cool Ranch, besides maybe the Free Ranger one, is just amazing. Duck of Death? Excellent. El Toro? Yes, please. The Magnificent Seven? Fuck yeah. Captain Blood? You already know. There's just so many creative plotlines within this world, and it's safe to say that I absolutely can't get enough. Cool Ranch is just home to so many classic characters and dungeons that I have great memories of, and unlike Skull Island, all of these nostalgic aspects of the world still hold up to this day in my opinion. And I think that's pretty hard to do. Which is why I am, of course, giving Cool Ranch the number 3 spot. However, there are still 2 worlds that are its betters in my opinion. Which brings me to the world that takes the number 2 spot, and that is the world of Marleybone. Jesus Christ, I love this world. I love everything about it. The aesthetic and how it does justice to Wizard 101's own Marleybone, the storyline following the aftermath of the war we started in Port Regal, the final boss, Beachhead, everything about it is incredible, and it only left me wanting more. The only bad thing about the world is that there's not enough of it, and I will forever resent KI for that. Like why? Why did this have to be one of the shorter worlds? You did so well, my god. Probably one of my favorite parts about the world is it goes along perfectly with one of the main themes of Pirate that I've noticed, and that is pretty much the theme of, is it really worth it? You know, is it really worth it to carry out these actions in order to get closer to El Dorado, if it means there will be many consequences for others around us who just happen to get caught in the crossfire, right? And it does this by showcasing to us directly the damage we caused in starting the war with the Armada and Marleybone, in the form of a destroyed and overrun Isle of Fetch. And I think that stuff's really powerful. And I just love how the world of Marleybone serves as a sorta be careful what you wish for kind of thing for our pirate. It's just expertly done. But anyways, I think that's enough about Marleybone, and it's time now to move on to the #1 world in this game for me, and that is Valencia. Valencia is just unparalleled by any other world in this game, in my opinion. The aesthetic, the music, the characters, and the central plotline are all they're just positively astounding. And by the way, I am counting Valencia Part 1 and Part 2 as one world. It just makes sense to me that way, and I mean it is the same world after all. But yes, I love everything about Valencia. The only thing about Valencia I don't like is it was supposed to be even better, as there's an entire skyway that we have yet to visit that was apparently going to play a pretty big role in the original story before it was cut, and I'm pretty upset about that, as I love all that this world has to offer. I really do think Pirate101 has an extremely strong storyline, and it wouldn't have been the same without the overarching villain of the Armada. More specifically, Kane, of course, since he pretty much controls everything. Valencia is one of the reasons why I believe the Armada is the most menacing and compelling opposing force out of all the villainous forces we ever encounter in both Wizard 101 and Pirate 101, and I know that's a bold statement, but I really do think it's true. There's just something so scary about going up against an entire legion of beings whose sole purpose it is to just simply exterminate you. And I believe Valencia plays into the prospect of just having the whole world or a whole army even against you quite well, and it's absolutely terrifying. The world of Valencia appears to be a true tragedy when you take notice of how the Armada has completely taken over, unbeknownst to the nobles/ruling class of the world, and it's really sad. These people were victims of their own creations, none more so than the Toymaker himself, who, by the way, is a spectacular character. Gazpacho himself represents the negative consequences of greed, which also ties into the larger theme of be careful what you wish for, which I already mentioned, and it's just beautiful, really. A terribly beautiful tragedy which makes for some amazing backstory that the world of Valencia has to offer. We get to learn more about the Toymaker, about Kane, and even El Dorado itself. Not to mention the soundtrack of Valencia absolutely fucking bangs. It's like you can feel the sadness in every single note, and it's just, I love it so much. We also get to meet Fool, who is an amazing character in so many ways. For example, his existence kind of parallels Kane's own, because he was a broken creation just like Kane. And I have a theory that Kane sees himself in Fool, and that's why he hates him so much, since Kane is obsessed with perfection and doesn't see himself as perfect, and blah blah blah. Maybe that's a video for another day, but I think you guys get the point. This world is unlike any other, and it is unequivocally my favorite out of them all. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for this video, everyone. I really hope you guys did enjoy, and if you did, you could always leave a like on your way out, as that would help me out immensely, and I'd love you for it. Also, let me know down in the comments your ranking of all the Pirate 101 worlds as well, as I'd love to hear your opinions, and honestly, I really think you can't go wrong with any sort of ranking, as pretty much all of these worlds are great in their own unique ways. But with all of that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. And until then, take care and peace out.